Hi, I'm Daz. I'm the producer of The Drift, and it's been a couple of weeks now since we cleared from the set, and now a lot of the stuff is here in the studio. A lot of it still needs sorting out. This is our sort of bolt hole area that we're using to sort of sort out all the stuff that we're going to keep for the premiere, and all our tech gear is here as well. And a lot of it has been sorted out, but it was important that we got everything out by the deadline, which we did, recycled what we could, disposed of everything else, and then the bits we want to keep are obviously still here, so that's where we are. So what's been happening over the last couple of weeks? Well, for the most part I've been having a bit of a rest, which is nice, since it's now April and the project started full swing mid-August, so I haven't had a break really, other than Christmas, which is about 4 days. So I've had a little bit of a rest, which is nice, but also taking time to review the shots. Other people in the team are still working in the background. Sue's been working on the log sheets, and I've been reviewing footage as well, both on the film side and also the documentary stuff as well, all the footage that was shot on the documentary, which is very good, and logging that too. So, still been working on that. But also, I've been starting to think more and more about the post-production process and the editing phase, and that's quite a challenge. Post-production, traditionally for backyard productions, has always been a difficult phase, predominantly for sort of two reasons. The first one is that we seem to be very visually effects intensive on our projects. And that's probably no accident really, because it's one way of making a very cheap production, which, despite our efforts, it is a very low cost, zero budget production. It's one way of making it look a little bit more expensive, a bit more blockbuster, that kind of thing. And the second thing is in terms of the actual talent that we use, and the location of our visual effects people, and the complexity of getting people to work across great distances collectively. Now, when we're making a set pre-production, then the set is on a location, and everybody has to come to that location to make the set. Now, in visual effects, it's not necessary to do that, and that can be a problem in that you then look further afield for assistance. So, for example, we've got people in the States, Europe, Mexico, and all over the UK who are volunteering and very keen to get involved in visual effects, but there's that problem, and already I'm feeling nervous about how we go about actually producing the effects, because the best way is that we all come together and do it as a group. That's not going to be very easy, if at all practicable. So that makes me worried how we're going to achieve that, because even things like just having a chat with everybody is difficult. It's all saying, well, you've got Skype and Google Plus and everything else. It's not that easy. Everybody's busy. It's effectively having a meeting. It's almost as complicated organising a Google Plus chat as it is organising a weekend where everyone comes together, because everyone's still got to make their calendars free for that time. You've got to prepare all the things you want to talk about, and you've got to have a lot of them. So, that's actually quite a difficult thing, although it sounds easy. It isn't. Email, not a very good way of communicating, easily to misinterpret emails. Instant chat, yeah, it's okay, very slow. So there are problems that I'm expecting with that, and that's in some ways is sort of delaying my enthusiasm to jump into visual effects and stuff. So, hey, but there we are. So that's something I've got to sort out. On the other side of it, on the editing side, I've actually already started editing one of the scenes, which is good to start getting into sort of a good rhythm of how I'm going to edit, and I'll be doing a diary all about how the edit works and how I'm editing, and how I'm going to deal with best part of, I think it's 4,000, 6,000 clips, 4,000 documentary and 600 gigabytes, certainly, 600 gigabytes of footage. And the logging certainly helps out with that. That's going to be a separate diary about how I'm doing that. But the whole sort of the last couple of weeks, at the time that I have been sort of concentrating on on the film and post-production has been about setting up the post-production phase. So just like, for example, during pre-production, before I did the diary and said, right, we're going to make a movie, who wants to come and be on a set and all that kind of stuff, before I got to that stage, I'd already spent a fair few weeks deciding, working out how it was going to work, the sort of stages of the production, what my sort of deadlines, when did I have to have a story, when did I have to have a script, when did I have to have casting, when are my rehearsals going to be, how many rehearsals would I need, how many sets am I going to need, what's my budget. All that kind of stuff was done before the announcement of the pre-production stage. So in some ways, it's good to spend perhaps a bit longer at this stage getting my post-production side of the house sorted first in terms of my sort of strategy, before I then start allocating tasks. So yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I'm going to go away for a couple of weeks on a job, so there'll be no diaries for that while I'm away. But while I'm away, and if I do get any free time, then I'm going to start working on some edits. I've got enough of the log done now, about a third of the way through, for me to start doing some rough cuts. I'm hoping to get some of the visual effects stuff sorted out in terms of strategy, start pushing it out to the volunteers who are going to help us out with that. And also looking at the documentary footage as well, start editing that down too. So, you know, lots of little things going on in the background over the next couple of weeks. May is the sort of, I think, when things will start moving forward more quickly in terms of visual effects and everything else. And I think that's fair enough, because realistically that means we've had 4 weeks from finishing filming to actually really cracking on. And I think in a project of this sort of size with as few people as we have, I think that's a good idea, rather than just rushing straight into from one thing into the next. To take stock and get it right and get the method right will pay dividends in the future. Just think everything simple, things like just from logging effects to sorting out a proper workflow, how we're going to send data to each other, getting some research on ideas for score and sound effects and where we're going to get the sound effects from. That's all very important too. Giving the visual effects guys and the editors, I'm the editor, but the sound engineers, sound recorders, all that kind of stuff. Give them some sort of direction, rather than just say, go and get some sounds, and they send me some stuff and I don't like it. Try and give something back so they can actually use and then produce something that's less wasted effort. So I think I'm going to need some time just to prepare that as well. So it's not just about workflows, it's also about the actual look and feel, sounds, and styles, so they're happy too. So that's that. Budget-wise, nearly got all the bills in now for the budget. So I think we're looking at around about £3,500 for the whole production so far. That's including materials, feeding the crew, to insurance, public liability cover, that kind of stuff. So I think all in all that's looking good. It's not confirmed yet. I'm still waiting for a couple more bills to come through, see how much they cost. But on the whole, 3.5k, which puts us around about on budget, if not slightly over. But if you include a 10% contingency, which you always should, at least 10%, then we're definitely within budget. So I've got to be happy with that. And bearing in mind, as always, the projects always grow and get bigger. And looking at the footage that we've got and there's the scale of the production, I think £3,500 is pretty good going. Well, it's excellent going, to be honest, what we've achieved. So I've got to be happy with that. So yeah, that's about it really. Obviously I have to come back and sort this stuff out at some point in the future. But for right now, I'm going to be disappearing off for a couple of weeks, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers.